Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just recorded a Bitcoin video, so I'll probably upload that first or second, I'm not sure. But this video is going to be about XRP. And the reason why I wasn't going to do this, I was going to do something else. But I'm going to talk about XRP today because if you look at the market, look at Bitcoin's down 3.5%, Theta Fuel's down 4%. But look at Bitcoin. I'm sorry, look at XRP. It's almost up 5%, which is interesting, right? Considering the fact that everything else is kind of down, right? You have total three down about 1.5%, Ethereum down 2%. Aave is flat. XLM is up 1.3%. QNT is now up 2%, but Theta was down between 7 and 9%, but it did have a good day yesterday, right? It's still very bullish in my opinion. It's having that bullish correction. But look at XRP versus Bitcoin. That thing is up. It was up 9%, so that's pretty interesting. Considering the fact, look at Fetch.ai, it's down 7%. XRP versus ETH, 6.7%. ADA is flat. Filecoin, interesting, it's up 6%. So the market is kind of mixed today, kind of leaning bearish, right? But there are some coins that are actually looking pretty good. So let's talk about XRP. And I want to talk about XRP versus Bitcoin. But before I do that, I want to talk about the price of XRP and specifically look at what is going on here. We had a move, right, to the downside down here, right? We had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this correction in here. And I want to talk about how it's shaping up to be. Because I don't really like this right here because it looks very corrective. It looks like a three-wave move to the upside and then a continuation down. But what's interesting is that, number one, we held above the bull market support band. We held above it again. 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 And look at this base down in here, right? That tells me that the bull market support band is exactly doing what, it's doing exactly what it needs to do, which is supporting the bull market, right? Well, technically it's not necessarily a bull market, but it's in a bullish phase. And I think it's in a bullish correction. So to me, XRP is showing tremendous strength right now because a lot of times it could be bearish too, because the more times you hit it, the more weak it gets, and the chances are, you can break to the downside. But in this case, it's holding up very strongly and very nicely. I like the way it looks. I did share also a fractal in here, right, on the other video where you have this chop, chop, chop. You had a top. You came all the way down very quickly. You had this little hump right here, and then bam, you shot up. Same thing that kind of happened over here, just on a much bigger scale, right? You had this chop, chop, chop. You made a top. You had a quick move to the downside. You had this little hump, and then bam, you shot straight to the upside. But that's not what I wanted to show you. That's an interesting fractal, by the way, but check this out. Look what happened after that happened. We had this top in here, and we had this sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a 5-wave move to the downside. Okay, that's fair enough. But I want to talk about this right in here. I remember that time. I remember people asking me. I used to post on Facebook, right? I never made videos. I posted on Facebook groups. So I had a XRP. It wasn't my group, but it was an XRP group on Facebook. 30, I think it was like 20, 30,000 members, right? And I would post charts and just explain through a text what I see. And yeah, so anyways, I don't do that anymore. My main thing is, doing videos because I can talk about and explain things much more clear. But anyway, we have this price consolidation. Look how long it lasted, by the way. It lasted about 70 days. But look what it did. Look at the bull market support band, by the way. We came down, we tested it, right? We did go below it a little bit, which is okay. But we came back, we tested it, we tested it, we tested it. We kind of went below it again, right? We came back up, we tested it, we tested it. We continued to develop a base. This is the most bullish thing, right? And it was so interesting because that's when they timed their SEC attack, right after this incredible base that it formed. You see how the SEC is? That's why I like people say XRP is evil and this and that. No, I think it's not. I think it's a good guy coin, right? I think they're part of the good guys. I thought they were part of the bad guys too at some point in my life. But the more I dove in, the more I thought there's something more to this, right? The SEC, corrupt, right, is owned by the banks, right? Gary Gensler is a Goldman Sachs boy. He is a central banking puppet, right? And they don't like crypto. They don't like all crypto, not just XRP. They don't like any crypto. It's a threat to their system, but they understand that they have to, they have to stop it, right? They obviously can't anymore. So what do? They go after them with lawsuits, cause pain and suffering, security, right? Delay, no regulations. They want to make it so that, institutions and things like that can't get in. So what happens? I mean, crypto's been around since, 2009, thereabout, right? It's been going on for years, right? Going on, what is it, like 15 years now, almost. I think Bitcoin was created in 2008. I think it launched somewhere in early 09 and then in 2010, right? So, in 2028, 2029, essentially that would be 20 years of crypto. And, we still haven't had a proper regulation, right? So all this time has passed, no regulations, people are getting upset. They, for example, like you're a wealthy venture capitalist or something, you're a wealthy individual and you have BlackRock or Fidelity or whoever, right? And you want Bitcoin in your portfolio. But they say, oh, we can't do that. Why? Because it's not regulated. Well, I want it and I want it now, right? They get mad. They want it. So what they do is they go, okay, they call up Gary Gensler and the central banks and they go, what do we do? What do we do? They're if we don't, give them what they want, they're going to push for regulation, right? So they go, okay, let's give them an ETF, and that'll buy us some time, right? So everybody jumps up and down the Bitcoin Max, yay, ETF, right? But it's really all it is a repackaged security. That's all it is. A Bitcoin ETF is nothing more than a repackaged security. It's a derivative, really. Yes, it is really good. I like it because it pushed Bitcoin above the all-time high. It's got more adoption. People are talking about it. Much more people are buying it. Great. But that is nothing compared to what it can really be if we had real regulation, not just some ETF, right? So that's what I'm saying. So anyway, I just wanted to go off on a little tangent there, but that's what I think. And I think eventually we will get regulation. But anyway, XRP had this beautiful base right here, right? It had this beautiful base. And the best part is the base is on the bull market support band. That is critical, right? If the base was up here, right, and the bull market support band's down here, that wouldn't be so good. But you have the best of both worlds. And then also, right, you have a really good scenario because you had this major impulse to the downside, right? And then you had this sort of recovery, this little hump or hill, and then bam, you had this quick impulse, you flag down, and then you develop your base, and then bam, rocket ship to the moon, right? So we went up pretty massively. Let's see, from here up to, we went up almost 250%. That is not bad at all. So, going up 250%, perfect, right? So, then we had, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we were going to have an ABC pullback, continue on. But what happened in this ABC correction? The SEC came out and timed their attack, right? They went bam. They sued Ripple, XRP, delisted, Coinbase delisted it. And then what happened? It went below the bull market support band. Then it came up, it tested it as resistance, came back down, came back up, tested it as resistance. Then it flagged out. And even the lawsuit, even the exchanges couldn't stop it, right? Because any other coin, I think, would have just died, honestly. But it continued, it pumped back up. It said, you can't knock me down, right? It came down, it tested the bull market support band all through in here, developed another base, and then basically went boom, exploded to the upside. Now, honestly, it was a nice pump, right? But it wasn't like anything the other coins got. The other coins had, 5, 7, between 500 and 700, all the way up to 1,500%. Meanwhile, XRP only had another 330%, because the SEC did their dirty work. They did damage to the chart, right? But actually, if you ask me, that was a blessing in disguise, because now when you zoom all the way out, what that did was cause not a bull run like every other coin went, right? Every coin basically had a bull run, had a bear market, and then continued the bull run. Not XRP. It only had a retracement. Now, at the time, it was terrible. It was painful, and it sucked. And it's like, man, they screwed it up, and we missed the bull run. Okay, we'll get the next bull run. So what do they do with the SEC lawsuit? They delay, right? How long did it take for the Judge Torres to rule, right? So if I go from here all the way up to here, it took like almost 1,000 days. I mean, come on, what on earth takes 1,000 days to figure out if it's a security or not? I mean, come on. It's not like a criminal trial. It's regulations, right? They need a call on Congress for regulations, but the central banks own Congress, and they don't like that because they want to develop their CBDC before they get crypto regulation so that they can establish their tyrannical system, right? But that's a topic for another day. By the way, I think they will lose. I think crypto will win, and I think gold and silver will sort of restructure our financial system, as a gold backing system, right? You have BRICS, right? The countries are moving away from the dollar. But yeah, they're moving away from the dollar, but they're moving away from the Federal Reserve debt note. We don't have a USA dollar. We have a Federal Reserve debt note, right? So I think we need to get rid of that, get rid of all the debt that system has created, and start new. And if people say, well, if that happens, then you would destroy everything. Well, no, not if you have a system that you can go to. And luckily, that's why we have crypto, and that's why we have gold and silver, right? So that's a topic for another day, but I think XRP will eventually play a role in that. I'm not saying XRP is going to be the new US dollar. I think XRP is going to be some type of neutral bridge asset, right? So for example, if I'm holding dollars and I want to trade it, or cross-border payments, or remittances, or whatever you want, derivatives, right? And I'm exchanging with the Japanese yen, but I don't want to hold the yen, right, for dollars, for yen. So what XRP does is act as a neutral bridge asset. So basically, it's a bridge currency. It's bridging different currencies. I'm not saying that they're going to use it, but it's there, right? And I think slowly but surely adoption will occur, and XRP will be one of those coins that will be, amazing. It'll be huge. And I really believe that. And there's many other reasons I don't want to get into, but I look at it like this. If XRP didn't have a bull run, it had a major lawsuit, right? And it had the exchanges get delisted, it still held a top 10 title, right? That is an amazing accomplishment. If that was ADA, it would have been knocked out of the top 10 so fast, your head would spin. If it was Ethereum, I think it still would hold the top 10, but I think it would be very painful. And I think now the tables are reversing. I'm hearing that the SEC is looking to go after Ethereum, maybe to save face. I don't know, because we know the SEC, the Hinman speech and the Hinman emails highlighted corruption with the Ethereum Foundation and things like that. So don't want to get into all of that, but I'm sort of setting the stage for what the chart is, because the chart is the price, and what we care about is the price. When is it going to go higher? When can we see return? Yes, the chart is very important, but there's a framework behind all the politics and all of the corruption and everything we see on the face, on the news and everything. So I'm kind of, painting a picture of what this is, so that when we transition into the chart, it makes more sense on what's happening here. Because, the chart and the news around it and the facts around it and the lawsuit and this and that, it's all cohesive with each other, right? So we're all trying to paint a picture of what it is. So the price chart is one element. You have a different element, which is the utility. You have another element, which is regulation. You have another element, which is corruption with the SEC, right? So we're piecing it all together and we get a beautiful picture, right? It's starting to make sense. So again, because XRP did not go into a bull run, it allowed it to then go back into reaccumulation. So XRP has been reaccumulating all through here and all through here, right? But if you look at something like Ethereum, right, had accumulation down here and it went into a bull run. And now this is a bear market, and now we're starting to go up higher again, right? But look at this. It's had one bull run and a bear market and another bull run, right? And another bear market. So XRP is a cycle behind. So there's so much divergence between XRP and Ethereum, right? It's ridiculous. So think about XRP is way down here. XRP is right there, right? That's where XRP is relative to the Ethereum chart. So what happens when XRP finally breaks out and catches up to Ethereum? I'm not saying it's going to take the number 2 spot, but what I am saying, it's going, if it's in the top 10 now, just imagine it'd probably be in the top 3 at some point. We'll see. But now let's talk about the price. Let's talk about the chart. Let's talk about what's happening. And then we're going to get into XRP versus Bitcoin. You're not going to want to miss that. I think that's the most important chart in crypto right now. So basically, we have this contracting triangle, right? The price is coiling in, right? Here's your demand line. And then above is your supply line, right? And when the demand line and the supply line meet, you get a volcanic eruption. Either the supply line breaks or the demand line breaks, right? So one of those lines is going to break, and it's going to cause a major move, a major volatile move. Because think about, guys, I don't know how to explain it without just going insane, because crypto, right? There's so many charts out there, but there's no chart out there like XRP. Again, XRP has the biggest base in crypto history. So if here's your base, basically XRP has been going sideways for the last 6 years. So if you draw a line right in the middle, right there, right in the middle of the apex, that's exactly where it is. It's at 63, 64 cents. It's in the apex of this range. It's in the middle of this range. So it's essentially been going sideways. So what that means is, think about volatility, right? Like think about the stock market, the VIX, right? The volatility index. When that thing, so just real quick, this is the VIX. It's the volatility of the S&P. And you can see, right, when, the volatility Goes sideways, you get these big moves down, right? Goes sideways, you get these big moves up. Comes back down, you have these spikes up, right? So when volatility slows down, you eventually get a big spike. So that's what I'm saying. So think about it like XRP, right? XRP has essentially been going sideways in this massive range for the longest time, longer than any other crypto on planet Earth, right? So that's why you see so many people don't like it. You see so many people on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, they talk crap. XRP is nothing. I sold my coins, right? I think even, what's that guy's name? Ben Armstrong. I can't think of his name, but that's his real name. But BitBoy Crypto, he sold his XRP, right? I think there's so many people out there that jump ship, and because you know why they jump ship? Because they're used to that instant gratification when they buy a crypto, like it's a meme coin or whatever coin, right? And they buy it and they wait a few months and bam, they get a big pump and they feel it, right? So they're used to that quickness. They're used to that instant move, right? And even if you're in a bear market, people are understanding, right? But when you're in a bull market, people are expecting it to go up, and they're used to that fact, right? So even with Bitcoin, people buy Bitcoin. Look what's been going on since the beginning of 2023. It's been going up, 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 right? So people are, they're used to buying crypto and it doing something, rather it going up or down. So when people buy XRP and it does nothing, it stays at 50, 60 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents. And it just goes up and down, does nothing. And then it gets wrecked. And then it's like all over again. That wears your psychology. You don't like that because you're not used to that fact, right? So people are not used to holding something like this, but they don't realize how powerful it is. And it's something you want to be holding for a very long time, right? Or at least until you get that move. And I think that move is happening very quickly. I think it's coming soon. And the reason I think it's coming soon is because, well, number one, we have the biggest base in crypto history. Number two, the lawsuit should be ending very soon. Number three, Ripple should be IPOing, right? You got to look at ammunition too. Which coin has the most ammunition, right? XRP, in my opinion, has the most ammunition. Number one, it didn't break out into a new all-time high. Number two, it has the biggest base in crypto history. Number three, despite all odds, it didn't break out into a new all-time high. It had exchanges delist it, and it only went into a retracement, right? And it still held the top 10 title, right? And then going on again, you have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. That's usually what happens. That's happened with Ethereum. It's happened with Bitcoin. It's happened with different stocks, right? It even happened back here. You had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout, right? That's another reason. And another reason is you have Bitcoin at an all-time high. Another reason is you have a contracting triangle, A, B, C, D, and now we're getting E, right? So now we're in that E wave, and it looks like we're finishing that E wave, right? So now, this is it. I think this is the moment where we get something massive. Now, I think it happens this year. I think it either is going to happen this spring or this winter. I don't know. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's going to be a big ride, because if you look at this right here, let me get it like this. Most of crypto is up here, right? So most crypto did this. They went up to their all-time highs. They had a bear market. Then now they're coming back up. They built a range down here, and now they're coming up into the retracement levels, right? So if I make that bigger, XRP is way down here. So it's literally like 2,000% away from where some coins are currently at, right? So that's just the face of. So now we're going to get into the real, the more nitty gritty of why XRP, in my opinion, is going to do something insane, right? And that's another thing. Like I said, everybody jumps ship, they sell it, they say it's a crap coin, it's this, it's that. But that's what happens. That's what happened to Dogecoin right before it blasted to the moon, right? A lot of times what happens is, you have everybody, you want to shake out the weak hands, right? Everybody has this narrative, and then when the narrative doesn't play out, people quit. But it's only when people quit that's when the real move happens, right? So XRP community is very tough, and they're very resilient, right? And that's why it's taking so long, right? So we want a lot of people who hold XRP to quit. That way it shakes out all the weak hands. That way we can continue higher. So another reason why I think it's very likely that we get an explosion sometime this year is because we're nearing the end of this contracting triangle. I mean, look at this. I mean, the apex of this triangle, depending where you draw it, is the end of it is around November, December. So sometime this year, it's going to happen. Either a major break to the upside or a major break to the downside. So place your bets. This is not financial advice. Anything can happen, right? XRP is my biggest holding, and you're going to find out why soon enough. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So now let's talk about what's been happening recently, right? Because we have this this massive range we've been in, right? And inside the massive range, you have other massive ranges like this range in here. And then you have another massive range in here, right? So this is all accumulation. This is all, coiling up, like you're coiling up a spring. So let me get rid of all this. And now we'll talk about what's happening now. So after we went into a retracement, we came down for reaccumulation, right? And this was the Bitcoin bear market, right? Everybody, that's what it was. But XRP wasn't in a bear market. It has been in a bear market this whole time. It was at the end stages of its bear market going into reaccumulation. You could say, well, yeah, but Bitcoin's breaking out again into new all-time highs and XRP is still down, right? Because we need to wait for XRP to cool off, right? We need to wait for it to consolidate. We need to wait for that rotation to occur. And I think that's coming soon, right? When we got this big move to the upside up here, right? If I put on Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin topped here and then it pulled down and then it went back up for a retracement. But as it went down and into a retrace, that's when, let me take Bitcoin off now, that's when XRP had that big explosive move, right? From, what was it? From 80 cents all the way up to $3.30. So, and that's, it needed that rotation. Okay, so let me keep going here. So we had this big dump, or I should say reaccumulation, right? We're going down into reaccumulation. Once we got there, then we go sideways, right? Into, we develop a base, a sideways reaccumulation base, right? As the rest of the market was also bottoming out, and the rest of the market is heading for retracement, XRP already had its retracement. Remember that. So it's a cycle behind, but now it's kind of like a cycle ahead, right? So we came down, right? We got above the bull market support band, came back down. We found resistance, we came back down. Then we finally broke above and we held it as support. We pumped up again. We came down again. We held it as support here, here, and here. Or actually both times here. Then we exploded with the SEC XRP is not a security, right? Only to then just get slammed right back down, right? And I wish it didn't happen in the summer, because usually things that happen in the summer are often just fake outs, right? But what happened here was something very interesting that nobody really, because a lot of people who see the XRP chart, they go, oh, it's a mess, it's choppy, it's corrective, it's this, it's that, it doesn't like it, it's not doing anything, it's crap. But if you look beyond that, what I see is a base, of accumulation base. We broke out of the base right here. Okay? We broke out of the base. Then we came all the way back down to back test the top of the base. Right? We went a little bit further, but that's okay. Right? So then this became a base in itself, right? So now what we have here is an accumulation base, right? Accumulation base. We broke to the upside, and now we have another accumulation base. All while holding above the bull market support band here, here, right? And now again here. And yes, we did go below it, back above it, back below it. We're sort of intertwining with it, right? We're coiling up and around it. So now what? Now we broke to the upside, and now we're testing it. So this is the moment. This is the moment of truth, right? So that's one way you can look at it. So it finished up its reaccumulation. It broke out. Now it's in its second reaccumulation. So now we need to break out of this. The question is, do we get one more final reaccumulation before the blast off? And remember, this is exactly what happened with Bitcoin. If you take a mental screenshot of that, right? Those two yellow boxes of support, that's exactly what happened here. There's your first accumulation box, right? You break out, then you create another box. And if you go back in time, everybody was calling Bitcoin, it's a crap coin, it's not doing anything, it's going to go to zero, it's blah, 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 right? But meanwhile, right, it was just torturous. It was going up, then back down, then up, then it breaks out. People get excited again, but then it goes flat for, let's see how long. Up to 200 days of doing nothing, right? It drove people nuts. Right? But it held the bull market support band. It made it had a base, it had a higher base, and then eventually it broke out of that base, right? And then it sort of created, kind of another one, somewhat of another base before it breaking out, created another little base, and then it really, really, really ripped to the upside, right? And then it was game over from there. So, take a mental screenshot of that, right? This is just another representation, right? So how long are we now? Let's see, this is even way bigger. This is actually going on 700 days. So look how much more time it is. And you can say, well, that's bad. No, that's good, actually, because the more time, the more accumulation, the bigger the breakout, right? It's going to be huge, in my opinion. It's like contents under pressure, right? The pressure is increasing. The buyers are accumulating. That's why you get these crazy anomalies. And here's another thing. XRP has more glitches on exchanges than any other coin by a factor of 10. Let me repeat that. XRP has more glitches on exchanges than any other coin by a factor of 10. Don't believe me? Just look it up yourself. Type in XRP glitches. There's so many glitches throughout time. They're all over Twitter, right? They're all over Google. There's just tons of them. And I think why that occurs is because you get these insane, first of all, I think the market is rigged to a certain extent, right? They like to suppress certain assets, right? I mean, if you look at the SEC, they went after Ripple, right? They're trying to suppress the price. And then look at when XRP has these big pops to the upside, they go, oh my God, it's going up. And then they try to crush it back down. And then it pops and then they crush it back down, right? I mean, look at this. It pops to the upside, they crush it down. Pops to the upside, crush it down. That's why people are being conditioned to think that every time it pops to the upside, it gets slammed back to the downside. And that's true. That's what's been happening, right? Because you attack those you fear the most, right? The market makers, you attack those you fear the most. So that's why I think XRP is one of those coins that they very much are afraid of, because they know how powerful it is, in my opinion, right? So, these glitches, some of them are like $100, $50, $30. I've seen one like $1,000, 5,000. There's so many different glitches that happen on all types of exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, you name it, many different exchanges. So I think what's happening is these little pockets of truth, these little pockets of liquidity just poop, and then it's a digit on a screen, and then it's a glitch. It's like the Matrix, right? It's sort of the fabric of reality is starting to tear, and you're starting to see beyond the curtain, and eventually they can't hold it underwater, right? It's like holding a beach ball underwater forever. Your arms are finally going to give out, and when that happens, it's lights out. So I think that could happen, right? I mean, and then you get into, this is conspiracy. That side is the conspiracy side, right? I don't know if that's why the glitches are there. That's just my opinion, right? I mean, you having XRP community, no offense, but they have crazy riddles and community. I'm not all that. I don't. I'm like, let's stick to the facts. Let's stick to the charts. Let's stick to the truth. I'm not going to go on some crazy conspiracy riddle. Maybe they're real. Maybe they are totally true. Hey, if they're real, that's great. I'm all for it. Let's go. Right? But I'm not going to like put my reasoning behind that, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that say this and that, and XRP, $1,000, $10,000, maybe it happens, right? Like I seen a tweet that said $5 trillion overnight. Well, if that happened, that would be the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of the world within a matter of 24 hours. That would be literally the biggest exchange, or literally the biggest transaction in the history of the planet, if that happened by a factor of a ton, right? So, I'm not one of those people. All I'm saying is, look, if Bitcoin hit its 4.236 extension almost, if Ethereum did, if Dogecoin hit way beyond its 4.236, if Matic and Solana and this, all these coins hit these major targets, why can't XRP? It's overdue for a major bull run. It is way overdue for a major bull run. It has the biggest base in crypto history. It's almost finished with the contracting triangle, right? It has a base of accumulation, a second base of accumulation. We're almost there, right? It's the same thing right here. This right here is your base. It's the same thing that's happening here, just bigger, right? And then here is your move to the downside, right? Your move to the downside, right? Here's your retracement right here. Same thing here. Here's your retracement. And then here is your bull run and your bear market, right? Same thing here. Here's your bull run and your bear market. So they're all lining up, right? And yeah, it'll be definitely an interesting thing. So now let's dive in deeper. Okay, I just give you the face of it and my opinion and things like that, but let's prove it. Let's prove it. Well, I already did with the base, right? But also here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 5-wave move off the low. That signals a reversal, right? So when you get 5 waves, then you want to see a 3-wave pullback, right? If this happened to be 3 waves, then it would be a corrective move, but it was a diagonal. So then you have an A, B, and a flat C, right? So you have this A, B, C, and now you have this impulse to the upside and a back test of the bull market support band. So you're like literally right there. So to me, the next thing is a big pump to the upside, a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. This is just, what should happen based off an impulse like this, or a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a 3-way pullback. You break above the bull market support band. You have a base, right, on top of another base. Coming down. All of this is reaccumulation, right? So there's so many things that say XRP is getting ready to go, and I haven't even showed you the best part yet, which is XRP versus Bitcoin. But now let's talk about this final thing that's happening here, right? And then I know a few people talked about it, which is, right, you could be an ABC, but then it also can be a wave E, right, of this contracting triangle, right? So again, you have A, B, C, D, and now we're in E, right? So now let's talk about wave E. So let me get rid of that. And wave E can also be a contracting triangle itself. So you have A, B, C, D, and now we're in E. So we have this first pump to the upside, right? And so we need 3 waves for E, right? So far, we got 1, 2. We need one more move, maybe to the downside, or maybe it's a flat. Either way, something like that. And then we can finally go. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping to happen. It could change, right? But so far, that's how I see it. Okay, so another idea could be that now we're talking about this wave E, right? So this whole thing is wave E of the larger degree. Now we'll talk about wave E of wave E, right? Of the smaller degree. So this could actually be another, let me zoom in. This can actually be another triangle here, right? So if I zoom in right here, we have A. Let's come up for B. We come down for C, go back up for D, come down for E, and then bam. Boom, we go, right? So, yeah, it could be a couple of different ways how this. The point is, we want to hold above the bull market support band, right? We corrected to the downside. Maybe we get A, B, C, D, E, some type of triangle. Boom, then we break out. Or, like I said, this could be an A, B, and a C, and then we break out. So A, B, C, right? Let me take everything off the screen. So, over the next couple weeks, it's going to be critical. A, B, C, right? Something like that, and then go. Right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and then go. So that's what I would like to see happen. Some type of correction like that. We'll see if we get it. Or this thing can be done now, right? And we have some type of, maybe, we did break out, by the way, some type of bull flag here. I mean, look at this. We did break to the upside. And XRP currently is up. And look at this. It came all the way down to the 200-week moving average and nailed it. It was up at one point almost 15%. And now it's currently about 12%. So yeah, it's looking good. So let me take all that off. Well, first, let me zoom in even closer. And what I talked about yesterday, right, was this fractal here. Remember what I talked about yesterday? Boom, boom, where you have this spike to the upside. We come back down, right? This fractal was this Bitcoin fractal right here. Where's it at? Take a mental screenshot of that. Now look at this. Let me go into the 2-day over here on Bitcoin. Same kind of thing right here, where you had this boom, boom. You had this spike to the upside, came back down, boom, boom, right? So you have two shoulders ahead, two shoulders, slanting down like this, and then bam, we accelerate. And that's exactly what happened with XRP. I talked about that yesterday. Back when XRP was, what was the price? Let me see real quick. I think we were right in here around 60 cents, somewhere around in here. I can't remember. But yeah, you could see that same type of that move, right? Where you have a shoulder, another shoulder, this spike to the upside, a shoulder and a shoulder, and it's slanting down, right? And then bam, you get this impulse to the upside. So, hey, it worked, right? It looks pretty good. You know, you back test, continue on. So it looks good. Let me take everything off the screen, and I still haven't showed you the best part. So, you know, this is 1, 2, 3. Let's get 4 and 5. We really want to see a 5-wave impulse off the bottom because we have this base on the bull market support band. So very, very, very important, right? So we want to explode now. We want to get out of here. But before we do that, if we do get another wave up, just same thing like Bitcoin, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we can get 5, we want to see something like this. And then go like that. So that's what I would expect, right? Something like that, where you have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Which is really 5 if you just count the subwave. And then you have the bottom, right? And then there's, I don't know if you guys know, there's this thing Blockchain Backer had, was pretty cool. It's called the 7-wave bottoming theory. And I did some research on it, and actually it's pretty awesome. So I could show that later on. But basically, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you have this impulse to the upside, and then you sort of drag out a lot, right? You drag down in here, you make this bull flag. So this would kind of be my entry down in here if I was going to enter, right? And then bam, you get this impulse. So that would be, you know, a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So yeah, I mean, look at that. That would be my hope. That's sort of my bullish, aggressive primary idea, right? Which is something like this, where we come back down, some type of correction down in here, right? So we're coming up to this resistance. If we can break it, we can back test, continue. If not, then let's cup into the resistance and break out and continue. So those are my ideas there. And then also, right, of course, it can be the two previous ones, which is an A, B, C, right? Then go, right? Which is, let me zoom out. Remember the ABC, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, go. Or it can be A, B, C, D, E, go, right? Something like that. But either way, whatever it is whatever it is. I'm not here to try to figure that out. The point is, let's wait for this correction to end. I think it's going to come up, flag to the downside, and then start working its way up. Like a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways go. Something like that. So let's see how that plays out. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I think we're getting very close. I mean, you can even see it right here. You have a shoulder, you have a head, let's come down for another shoulder, right? Have this little bear flag in here, or bull flag, breakout, back test, go. That's what I would like to see. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. But we did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had a 5-wave move to the downside, and it was a corrective move. And we broke above that downward resistance line. Now let's come down, back test it, and continue higher. So I think I made my case pretty well on XRP. And there's many other things I can talk about, like the oscillators. I mean, if you just look at the RSI, it still looks good. You know, we did have a 9 on the 4-day. Let's go to the weekly chart. And I still need to talk about XRP versus Bitcoin. So don't go anywhere for that. Let's see. On the weekly chart, we had a 9 right here. We pulled back a little bit. We broke above the red dots. We broke above the bull market support band, and then we back tested these green dots down in here. Also back testing the 200-week moving average, back testing the bull market support band. We have 1, 2, 3 weeks. 3 weeks, actually 4 weeks of breaking out and back testing key levels, the most important level of the chart, which is the bull market support band, right? And then if you go back over here, right, what I talked about, right? Same kind of thing. This was actually a lot longer, but it was the structure was a lot bigger, right? So we broke out, we back tested the bull market support band, all down in here, same thing. So yeah, I think that should do it for XRP. Looking at the EMA ribbon real quick, just pull up some indicators. Looks very, very bullish, very healthy, holding strong and above it. Looking at the Bollinger Bands, it's starting to get squeezed, right? You can see this is coming down, this is going up, it's getting squeezed, it's looking very good. Yeah, it's starting to look very good. I think we're going to get a breakout very soon. I'm very bullish. Everybody's bearish on XRP. Everybody go, oh, the chart looks horrible. It hasn't done anything. It's boring. It's torturous. And I agree. Yes, it is. But if you look beyond that, and I could be wrong, but I think if I'm right, I think my channel will probably grow a lot. Because these are pretty bold calls. I know a lot of people have been making bold calls with XRP, but it's the same thing every day. I mean, if you look on Twitter, XRP is going to break out. Every single day they post that for the last 3 years. And it's like, come on, give it a rest, right? I'm not saying it's going to break out today, tomorrow, but I think it's very close now. You know, back over here, I thought this was a good chance. But when we came back down, I thought, yeah, this is following the fractal. That's another thing I forgot to mention, which is this fractal down here, right? So if I pull it here, come back up here. So it looks very, very good. And this is another thing. You know, you have this move here, right? This down move, back up, back up. You have this move back up with the fractal and with the price. And then the price kind of made this sort of wavy correction, while the fractal was more of a isolated correction, more of a tight one. But if you look at it, I expanded it a little bit, you can see, I mean, it looks much clearer when I zoom in, but you know, from a timing perspective, I mean, look where we're at. We're getting close, right? And I actually can play around with it probably right there. So maybe another week or 2 weeks. I would say maybe within 2 weeks, right? So another thing too, and that's the fractal, and it's very bullish. I don't know how many bullish things I've said, but another thing I want to point out is my video that I made, right? You know, that person that commented, when's it gonna move? You said it, you know, just because you said this, it doesn't mean you have to give us a timeline. I don't have to give you anything. But if I had to guess, right, I would say this is our second range. And to be conservative, I would say we break this range in April or May. That's my That's my prediction. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% confident and sure, but I actually am pretty confident in a way. I think we can break this in April or May. So if I extend this out to the end of May, because that gives me 60 days, right, plus March, we have from here till the end of here to break out. And remember, I mean, going back to theta, I've been talking about since all the way down here. You can go back and check the videos. I was talking about the Wyckoff structure. And since when we were down at 64 cents, my story has been the same, which is a retracement. We need a retracement. And look what's happened over the last, let's see, October, November, December, January, February, March. Almost 6 months. I would say about 5 months of making YouTube videos. Since the middle of October, now we're basically in March, right? I've been saying we need a retracement, and that's exactly what's been happening. So XRP is a much tougher animal, very tough to crack because it's much different. But now I'm getting a little more confident in XRP. So by April or May, I think we can break this range. Now, when are we going to break to the all-time high? That's the big thing. I think we can break above the all-time high between $2, between this high and this high, this range in here, by between October and December. So either it's going to happen this spring or it's going to happen this fall and winter, right? So I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it could happen in the summer, but a conservative way to see it is we break out of this. So here's our first range. Here's our second range. We break out of the second range in April or May, right? Then we sort of go into a summer lull, right? Or whatever, a correction, right? We get back up here into the strong resistance at $1.30, $1.60. We stall out for a little bit, maybe develop another range. Then at the end of the year, between October and December, that's when we can break, or at least attempt to get back up here, right? So between October and December, we can get back up into here and even possibly break it. So, and then by spring of next year, we can reach our Fibonacci targets, right? Between $5 and $10 or something like that. We'll talk about that later, right? But I think we're getting close. You know, we have the rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, base up, sideways, let's base up again and break out. And then what that does is we have a cup, we have a handle. I mean, and then, you know, we have a contracting triangle. We have A, B, C, D, E, right? And then we also have the same fractal from back over here, right? Plus XRP has not gone on a bull run. XRP has not gone on a bull run for over 6 years. It is overdue, right? It is way overdue for a massive explosion, right? Plus XRP has an ammunition. It has the XRP lawsuit, right? Imagine what happens to the price, because Ripple's going to win. It looks so. They already declared XRP is not a security. Just wait until this court is done. The SEC has lost, right? And the man fighting behind it was John Deaton, and he's, by the way, running for Congress, for the Senate. So if you're Massachusetts, I believe. So if you're there, vote for John Deaton. He is a crypto. We need crypto warriors in Congress. So this is a call. Like, this next election is probably, you know, they always say it, but it's very important. Vote for people who are pro-crypto. And a lot of them are not Democrat. So I'm sorry to say that, but it is what it is. You know, not to get political, but at the end of the day, your investment means everything to you. It does. It means everything to you, right? Because this is not for you. This is for you. This is for your family, right? Your money, you know, people go, oh, don't love money. It's not about loving money. It's about establishing yourself in this world of crap, right? We live in a corrupt, evil society, right? And most people are good people, right? Like most people are the media, they say, oh, the black people and white people, they hate each other. That's not true at all. Most people are loving. Most people respect each other, right? You have these evil people who want to pit us against each other, right? It's like that one meme. If you convince the pitchfork people to be mad at the torch people, then they won't look at the real enemy, right? It's crazy. I've been watching this series on Netflix. Highly, it's really good. It's called Warrior. Warrior. It was on HBO Max or Cinemax, maybe. I can't remember. But it's good. It's back in the 1900s, about the Irish and the Chinese and Chinatown and the gangs, and it's a really good story. But anyway, XRP, I think, is at a very critical moment. It's basically do or die, right? And like I said before, XRP has ammunition, right? It has the lawsuit. No other coin has this type of ammunition, right? Which is rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, not breaking above the all-time high, right? Being in the top 10, not having a bull run. Also, eventually this lawsuit is going to settle in some shape or way. It's going to go away, and it's going to be official. And then also XRP has more ammunition, which is a Ripple IPO. Ripple already stated they're going to IPO their company when this thing is over with. So that's even more ammunition. And then we also have talks about an XRP ETF. So you have a Ripple IPO, you have an XRP ETF, you have the lawsuit wrapping up. And then you also have XRP in the most perfect spot on the planet when it comes to where it is in the chart, which is at the end stages of its reaccumulation, right? We have, like I said, we have this base here, reaccumulation. We broke out, now we're in our second base, right? This is our retrace. This is our down move. This is our reaccumulation, right? This is our bear market and our bull market. Those are the phases of the market. And then eventually this thing goes. That's usually what happens. And then if you assign the narrative and then you look at Bitcoin, it's at an all-time high, right? So there's so many different things, right? So I think I made my case pretty clear on XRP. Now, remember, this is not financial advice. Don't listen to what I say. Always do your own research. I could be wrong. This thing can go to zero. Always know that, right? This is just what I believe. Doesn't mean what you. The reason I believe this is because I have conviction. But listening to me doesn't give someone conviction. It just basically is an opinion, right? So if you want to have an aggressive conviction on a crypto asset, then you got to do your own research and dig down the rabbit hole. You might find bad things about XRP, right? There's always two sides of the coin. So if someone doesn't like XRP, ask them, why don't they? Why don't you like it? And maybe that's a case to say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't invest in this right now. Maybe I shouldn't do it, right? But I've done that and been there, done that. And I used to not like XRP. I used to be a Bitcoin guy only. Because what happened, I'll give you a story. This is the truth. I was in Bitcoin. Let me go here to Bitcoin. This is a true story. I was in Bitcoin all through here, right? I didn't sell it, right? I got in probably when Bitcoin was somewhere around in here, between $3,000 and $4,000, I think it was, somewhere in the summer of 2017. Then, and when December of 2017, I remember I was in Vegas. It was my wife's birthday, and we were in Vegas. And I didn't gamble because I felt like I already won. I only put in, not that much money, right? But at the time, it was kind of a lot. and I think the total account got up to like maybe $7,000, $8,000, something like that. And I didn't sell it. I go, oh, I'm rich. I look at all this money I made. And then we went into the bear market, right? And then I'm like, oh man, and you got devastated, right? And then, but before that, I was trying to understand, how the charts work. I was looking at the charts, trying to figure it out. In 2018 through 2019, all of 2018, I was just hell bent on understanding charts. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and now 2024. Just every single day of my life, I've been educating myself on charts and really understanding the psychology. But anyway, I traded my Bitcoin for alts, and then when we had this dump here, right? When we had this dump here, because I was convinced that, we're probably going to go lower, but the alts are going to outpace Bitcoin. I got just wrecked, right? I still held my alts, but what I did was I thought the alts were scams, right? I was convinced that, because when you lose money, you feel like you've been ripped off, right? So what you do, right, is you try to explain to yourself, well, it wasn't my fault, it was because these altcoins, right? I think the whole scam of it is these exchanges want your Bitcoin, right? Because if you look at all the exchanges, they all have Bitcoin pairs, right? So whatever coin versus Bitcoin. And the conspiracy that I had was that all altcoins are scams designed from exchanges to steal your Bitcoin. That's what they're for. That's what I thought, right? I thought the exchanges created these altcoins, right? Or they leveraged, I shouldn't say created, but they used these altcoins to steal your Bitcoin. And obviously that's not true, but when you lose money and you're trying to think of an excuse, that's what I came up with, right? So then I got even smarter and smarter and smarter. And through here, I think I was getting really, really smart when it comes to charts. And then I was ready. I was prepared for the next bull run. And when we dropped down in C19 and when we came back up, that's when I was ready, right? So I would say from, the peak of 2017, or really a little bit before that, to the end of, so basically summer of 2020, that's when I really buckled down, and I was holding a lot of Bitcoin, right? But then as the bull run started, I go, well, I want to hold alts, right? And that's when I really started getting into XRP, was right around the summer of 2020, right around in here. But before that, it was a banker coin. It was a scam. It was a crap coin, right? That's what I thought. That's what I believed. But what did I do? I kept seeing people post about it. Smart people, very smart people. I go, why is this smart guy? He's very smart. Why is he posting about XRP? He's got to be smarter than that. And I see another guy post about it. So I comment on his post. It's a banker coin. And then he replies, I'm not going to get into that, but we had a conversation, and I kept asking him, well, why do you like it? And it's because of this and that. And I go, yeah, but aren't you worried about this and this? And he goes, and then my questions got in, and then I dove deeper and deeper and deeper. And I finally realized this is bigger than I think it is, right? So I started scaling out of Bitcoin and scaling into XRP. Now at the time, it seemed like a good idea, but really, the lawsuit sort of screwed my big moment with XRP, but that's okay because I still had quite a bit of Bitcoin for the last bull run. Plus, I had Chainlink, I had VeChain, I had some pretty awesome heavy hitters that really helped me out a lot. And then when we had the next bear market, that's when I started figuring out, okay, XRP is going into reaccumulation. So this whole time, between October 2021, right, all through now, is me preparing myself for the next bull run, right? Just like how I was preparing myself for that bull run, right? But I've been there, done that. I've been at the opposite end of XRP, hating on it, saying it's nothing, and it might be still nothing, right? But now, even let's say XRP is bad, but when I look at the chart, it tells me that it's gonna go higher, right? And that's the thing, like, there's no reason for Dogecoin to go up, but yet it did, right? It had help from somebody, but it doesn't mean, it still was pretty impressive, right? So if this thing's going to be bearish, then we're looking at a channel here, right? So something down in here. Boom. That would be the ultimate bearish scenario. But I cannot see that happening because this wave, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, wave 4 has already overlapped into wave 1. So it doesn't make any sense. But it could still play out. But so far, I've said so many bullish things. Now let's talk about, this video is already long. I've given a lot of opinions and a lot of background on top of it, right? But just looking at XRP versus Bitcoin, I'll try to make it quick. To me, the best part is this chart right here, where you have essentially, you have a rise, you have a crash, you have a retrace, you go all the way down into reaccumulation. Now we're going sideways, right? And you can say, well, this latest move is terrible. Yeah, that's true. But remember, Bitcoin likes to move first. But what I'm noticing here is, look at this. And I'm going to share somebody else's chart too, that I found on X. But look at this. We have this resistance in here, right? We're cupping into the resistance, cupping into the resistance, cupping into the resistance, cupping into the resistance. Can't break it, so let's come all the way back down. So here's our channel in here, right? And we break out of the channel, then we come all the way down, we back tested it. Or I should say retest. We back tested it once, come back up, we retest it, right? So this move is pretty extensive, right? When I turn on the RSI, actually I don't have the RSI right now, but we see a pretty crazy downtrend, and I think we are at the beginning of this thing having a reversal. So it's looking pretty good for a reversal. But then also, right, when you look at the oscillators, you can see hidden bullish divergence, especially on the RSI, right? As we're going down, right? We have this trend line here. This is a 7-year trend line. Actually, let me draw it better than that. I'll put it here. I come all the way here. Look where the price is right now. Look at that. So we're let me actually make it bigger here. This is a 7-year trend line. And we have a hit, we have a hit, we have another hit. So I think we get a bounce out of here. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I think, we've been going down so much, we're due for a big bounce. And I think if Bitcoin corrects in its wave 4, then I think that allows the alts to catch up, right? So let me actually let me get rid of this. And look at this, the stochastic RSI. It's oversold, right? So it looks like, it's starting to curl back to the upside. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. So let me get rid of that. I'll put this on, and you can see this. So actually, instead of doing that, let me show you the chart here. And shout out to JD, I believe that's his JD on X. So I like the way he labeled his chart here. You can see. Let me actually take a screenshot of it here. I'm so sorry this video is long. I know I did some talking there, but you could see we're heading up, right, in the trend line, and then also going down in the RSI. That's hidden bull right there. And then you can also see a reversal potential in here. So I think it's a good looking chart for a reversal for XRP, and that I really like it. The other chart, let me show this one real quick. This was from Crypto Anoop. He has a YouTube channel, Crypto Anoop, and he put this out, this parabolic curve pattern. I thought this was interesting. Shout out to him. So basically he's thinking, this is Bitcoin, so maybe we're in a base 4, right? And we still have another base 5 on that parabolic growth curve. So I like that chart. And then this chart here is from JD as well. There it is, JD underscore 757. Shout out to him. I like the chart, so I wanted to show it. And yeah, he's got, this is XRP versus USD on a non-logarithmic scale. You can see the price has already broken out of this downward resistance line. People say, why don't you use linear scale? It's already broken out. That's true, it has, but I want to be more conservative and use log scale, because it can, obviously it breaks out of linear scale first and then it breaks out of log scale, right? But might as well just put log scale on, because that will be a more conservative approach, right? So yeah, it looks really good for a continuation to the upside. And then also, if you look at XRP versus Bitcoin, you can see the top of the range is up here, right? And then you can see the bottom of the range is down here. So usually what happens is you oscillate to the downside, to the upside, to the downside, to the upside, to the downside, right? So what comes next? Probably the upside, right? But here's what I wanted to show you as well. You could see, if this is the low, well, let me do this. Not counting this wick here, but you have a low, you have a slightly higher low, higher low, higher low. So you're trending higher, right? And this is trending lower. So we want to see it, break above this line. We definitely have some work to do. But if I put it here, we technically did break above it, and we're back testing it now. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the next two to 3 months. And same thing goes with XLM, right? It's the same kind of story. Everything I say for XRP applies to XLM in a way. We broke above the downward resistance line, right? We have a little base down in here. We broke out, we developed another base, right? So let's break above this base. But yeah, so anyway, that's all I have to say for now. There is a few other things. Look at the Ichimoku cloud, right? So this is the Ichimoku cloud. You can see right here the price broke above the cloud, right? And I'm not sure how to read this particular one, but it's basically they're all the same, right? Here was this big red cloud. It was very hard to get above. We finally got above. It flipped green, right? So yeah, it's looking pretty good for continuation. Now this is the weekly chart, so not instant upside, but over time I think this thing is going to continue grinding up. Let me take that off, and we'll put on the Lucid SAR. So the Lucid SAR on the weekly chart flipped bullish. This is breaking news, right? I didn't talk about it the other week, right? But on the weekly chart, you can see right here, right? We were beneath it, right? Beneath the stars, and then boom, we broke above the star. Now the star's on the bottom, right? So the Lucid SAR is bullish. We're in an uptrend, right? So at least we can stay above it for some time. Now if I go to the 2-week chart, we're still below it. If I go to the monthly chart, let's see. Okay, we broke above on the monthly chart when we had that one Judge Torres ruling. So far we're very good. And then last but not least, just real quick, the MACD. I mean, look at the MACD on the monthly chart. We're about to cross over that 0 line, right? So this is big major news right here. So you can see down in here, right? We're red. We're gaining momentum, right? And then bam, we finally flipped green on the histograms. So it's been sort of flat on the histograms. That's okay. But the point is, the moving averages, the blue crossed above the orange, and now the blue's above the 0 line. So now what I want to see is for the orange line. So this is breaking news right here. I want to see the orange line break above this right here, this black line right here. So that this thick black line right here, right at 0, essentially, we have this orange line coming up. We want it to break above. So we broke above on the blue. We want to break above on the orange, right? And we want to have these histograms continue to pump to the upside, right? So I think that'll happen over time. Remember, it's the monthly chart, so things take some time. But essentially, yeah, I think everything's looking really good. So, and then looking at the monthly chart, we have 10 days left on the month. Basically, the goal for this month is to simply close above the bull market support band. Now, it would be amazing if we can break above 70 cents. If we can close the month, this is the biggest thing XRP can possibly do on the next step, is right here on the monthly chart, which in 10 days, right? If we can close above 69 cents, let me put it right on the dot here. We'll just say 70 cents. If XRP can close above 70 cents by the last day of March, then I would consider that a breakout, right? And then, my quote unquote prediction of it breaking the range in April or May would be perfectly on track, right? Actually, the sooner the better, right? That would be great. And then we would enter another phase up here. So, you can kind of see the trend, right? And yes, this is a long video, but I think it is well deserved, right? Especially if we're at the pinnacle, where we're at the precipice of this thing doing something incredible. So only time will tell. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So now let's talk about money, right? That's why we're all here. Let's talk about price targets. So real quick, the price target here, this is on, okay. So first of all, obviously we've got to break above the all-time high, but I really want to see us get back to here. This will be the big tell right in here. And I don't think we'll have a problem getting through it because of how little resistance there is up here, right? If there was a lot of trading volume in here, it might be hard to do it. But I think if we can break above, $1.70, especially above this high, if we can close the month, over time, if we can close the month above this high and get back into these retracement levels, I think we'll spend a little bit of time there, but I think we won't have a problem busting through it. I mean, just look at the history of XRP. It sliced right through all of this, right? So yeah, that would be between the first target, well, not the sell target, but the first target we want to get to is $1.30. Once we break that, $1.70. Once we break that, between $2 and $2.62, according to this Fibonacci, right? So put that right in the middle. So about $2.30. So if we can close, so I would say this, if we can close a weekly candle above $2.35, then my target will be, that first target would be $5.27 to $5.54. So the 618, the 702. Right? So essentially, about $5, $5.50 up to $6. Then, you got targets at $8, $10, and $13. So $8, $10, $11, up to $13. And that would be a normal thing. And my ultimate target would be that $10 to $13 price area. Problem is, a lot of people are expecting that, so it's either going to undershoot it or drastically overshoot it, right? So we'll talk about that now. So here's what I wanted to show you. Look at, this is the total 3. So this is a broad representation of all the altcoins right here, and this is what we want to know. So you take the swing high from 2017, 2018 down to the swing low. We went all the way up to what? The 1.414. Okay, so if we take that same measurement for XRP, where does that get us? Well, the 1.414 takes us right at $13. So boom, XRP, in my opinion, has a good probability of hitting that $13 mark. I think it can. And here's another, and the reason I think it can hit it is because look what Dogecoin did, right? Dogecoin hit. Here's Dogecoin right here. Dogecoin hit, let me put it, the Fibonacci from here down to the swing low. So Dogecoin, look at this. Jeez. Dogecoin hit all the way up to the 2.272. I mean, wow. Up to the 2, between the 2 and the 2.272. Right? So Dogecoin has the same type of look, right? It looks pretty similar to XRP. It has the base down here, it breaks out, and then it has this sort of, this rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, right? It went sideways, and look what happened after it went sideways. Bam, it broke out, and it hit all the way up to the 2 and the 2.272. Okay, so now let's go to XRP and let's see what we can find here. So the 2, oh my God, that's impossible. No way. No way. The 2 is at $93. Dogecoin hit the 2.272. That's $233. That is absolutely insane. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I think it's crazy. I think it's ludicrous. If that happens, I would have a heart attack and I would fall out of my chair and I'd probably die. Right? If that would happen, it would be life-changing. Dogecoin can do it. Can XRP do it? The problem is the market cap. Everybody says market cap. That would mean like a $5 trillion market cap, 10 trillion. It's insane. It'll never happen. That's true. But here's the thing. If Dogecoin can hit $233, the equivalent of XRP hitting $233, then why the hell can it not hit $8 to $13? I mean, come on, right? Right? So it's I just remember Jimmy from South Park when that one episode of South Park I remember a long time ago, the Bloods and the Crips. I mean, come on, we got to get together, right? We got to stick together, you know. Anyway, $233, $93. That's what Dogecoin hit, the equivalent of XRP, according to Fibonacci, right? So if it hit the 2 and the 2.272, then why can't XRP hit $8 to $13? And then also it needs to, right? Because it's a cycle behind, right? Dogecoin had this little thing and then it went up and hit the 2.272 and it came back down. That's what Dogecoin did, right? So it developed this base and it went sideways and it allowed for the explosion. Now look at XRP's base. XRP's base is even bigger. It's twice as big, right? So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with XRP. And that, my friends, will do it. So remember, not financial advice. Anything can happen. If I put a line down here, according to the retrace, we did break above it, right? So we have 10 days left and we've broken above, this downward resistance line here. So that'll be interesting to say. Now, of course, if you put it on the wick to wick, obviously no. But to me, the bodies are more important, right? So if I do this and I bring the body down, we're still not quite there. Well, again, it's subjective on how you do it, but it's better to be more conservative. So anyways, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. Same thing applies for XLM and other cryptos that look, that has that rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, things like that. But I think XRP has a lot of ammunition. I think a lot of people are giving up and quitting, which is a good sign. That's usually what happens before the big move. So remember, we want to see Bitcoin break above the all-time high. What we want to see is Bitcoin finish correcting, then break above the all-time high, then consolidate. Once that happens, I think we can get some big fireworks in XRP. But until then, let's just keep it an eye-to-eye, day-to-day. A good target would be obviously a break above this 70-cent line. So we want to get back above. We want the month to close above 70 cents, right? And on the weekly candle, it's, what is the weekly candle? The weekly candle, we want the weekly candle to close above 75 cents. So I think we can do it. We're holding above the bull market support band. Everything's looking really good. So there's another one from on the top of your screen there, Bill Boo Woo. This chart right here, I showed it the other day, but look at Bitcoin on the all-time high back in 2017. Look what it did right when it breached the all-time high. XRP was in this triangle 1 2 3 4 before it broke out. Now look at what's happening now, right? Bitcoin's back at the all-time high. You get a sharp pullback, and then what? You get this 1 2 3 4, and then boom, you flip it back to the upside. So, or essentially it'd be an A, B, C, D, E, right? So I think it's quite astonishing that all of these things are lining up. Maybe it's too good to be true, right? But I think nobody deserves it more than the XRP community for what they've endured over the last 6 years, right? So it's been insane. But again, the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? So we'll see. So anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate you guys again for tuning in and listening to what I have to say. Yes, it's long, but hey, it is what it is. Information, there's an ocean of information out there, and a lot of it is opinion, but I'm trying to paint the picture of what it really represents here, because I think there's a bigger picture here. And I didn't even get in. I can talk for another hour or two about the politics and the banking system and the financial system and how things are transitioning into this new crypto blockchain gold, right? Look at China, look at Russia. They're buying record amounts of gold. They're moving away from the dollar. The U.S. needs to position itself. I think it's happening now, right? So it's crazy. and we're all enjoying the ride, right? So that'll do it for this video. Again, you know, if you'd be amazing if you can hit that like button, and always leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know if you know, comment below if you have any coins you want me to take a look at for rapid fire. But yeah, and also if you want to leave a tip, that would be very amazing, awesome. And you want to support the channel, you can go ahead and leave a tip in the tip jar. I got 4 addresses there: Bitcoin, Theta, XRP, Theta Fuel. Just simply scan it, and yeah, you know how to do it. So anyway, I will catch you guys on the next one. By the way, I have a Bitcoin video. I think I'm gonna upload this one first, and then I will upload that Bitcoin video. So I got 2 videos for you guys today. So yeah, it'll be a good one. All right, guys, take care.